So this week's goal, recycling. I was inspired this week to try and see if I could throw nothing away because I watched this video. I believe it was Little Big Story. I think it's called Little Big Story. And I saw they posted an article about this town in, I believe it was Japan, that went totally zero waste. So they recycle everything, and they have like 42 different categories of recycling, and it's a small town, but everybody works together to try and not throw anything away. And I just thought that was a really cool idea. So I just decided that this week my challenge was gonna be don't throw anything away. And I'm calling it zero waste. Hold on, I'm gonna do a disclaimer first before I go any further. My goal was zero waste. However, when I went into it at the beginning of this week, my notions about what that meant were not 100% accurate. So really, my goal should probably be entitled, try to recycle everything for a week. Try to throw nothing away for a week. That would probably be the better name for the goal. So, in my recycling journey, I've been running into some questions, a lot of questions really, because there's a lot about recycling that I don't know. So I've been doing a lot of research, and this is just one example of a question that I have. So this is a bubble mailer, right? Like, it's paper and it's plastic, so... And there's like adhesive stickers and stuff on there, so does that mean that I can put that in with the recycling, or is that really just gonna get thrown into the landfill? I mean, I can't burn it, because that's another alternative, right? If it's just paper or cardboard or natural materials, then I could burn it. So it's like stuff like this that I'm like, what do I do with this? Oh, also ignore the sloppy spills. That's me working on my other goals, trying to get my 2 liters of water in a day. Just an update on where I am in this whole recycling project. Some of it's been really easy. Learning to just throw things in a bin for recycling rather than throw them away is actually not that hard. I don't even really have to sort things because we have one of those blue bins out front that I can just kind of throw everything into. So that part is really easy. The part that's difficult is when you get into like items that should technically be recyclable but won't be taken in. For example, paper products with food or grease on them, or things that are kind of like cross-contaminated, if you will. So I tend to like pick up several of these throughout the day. When I didn't really have an answer, or if I'm out, I'll just throw some stuff in my pocket, and I'll show you. Here I've got some coffee stir sticks, a sugar packet, I had an emergency packet, and then just paper products, like a tissue that I had. I think the biggest lesson that I'm learning from all of this is when you have all this stuff, it's a pain in the butt to try and get rid of. So try to not collect as much of it as you can. So here's everything that I was able to not throw away this week. Starting up here, I've got like tissues and natural materials that like should go in the trash, but they're not gonna go in the trash. But here I've got aluminum cans. Here I've got some paper, an assortment of paper and plastic. Here I've got glass bottles in there. And over here I have a Goodwill bag, clothes and things that I'm gonna give away. Which is really important, because giving things away is just about the best thing that you can do, so long as you're not hawking your stuff off onto somebody else, right? Because there's gonna be some sort of manufacturing, recycling, whatever footprint that goes into recycling. You know, that's still taking time and energy and machines and fuel and transportation and all that kind of stuff. So if you can give something away, if it's still good, if it's still valuable, do that, because then somebody else can get joy out of it, and you haven't had to throw anything away. Compost. Foodstuffs. This is a great idea, and I really encourage everybody to do this because it's really simple, it's easy, and food waste makes up a lot of what goes into our trash, and it's stuff that's really avoidable. And I almost forgot, last but not least, here's what I had to throw away this week. So there it is. There's my trash for the week. I feel pretty good about that. Considering it could have been everything in this room out here, I think I did all right. I'm pretty happy and proud with that. So Anyway, give it a shot. See what you can recycle. So here were some of my biggest takeaways from this week. So takeaway number one, 80% of it is a lot easier than you think, and it doesn't even really take that much effort. I at least throw a lot of things away just kind of by force of habit. I don't even really think about it, I just throw it in the trash. Well, I would say probably 80% of that stuff that I'm throwing in the trash, it's really easy for me to just throw that into the recycling bin instead. Takeaway number two, the other 20% is actually kind of difficult and it requires some research. There were a lot of things that I don't know what category it fits into. It doesn't have that little triangle with a number inside of it. The plastic doesn't. So I'm like, is this recyclable? I don't know. I got to research that. Takeaway number three, recycling and zero waste. This idea of zero waste, it's more than about just recycling. It's about an attitude towards consuming products and using products. What are you buying? How much use are you getting out of it before you're throwing it away? And I found that there are a lot of little ways to really limit my intake of items that are single-use items. Q-tips, for example. I'm gonna keep using Q-tips, right? Like, I'm not gonna not use Q-tips even though they're kind of a single-use disposable item. Well, there actually are like alternatives to disposable Q-tips, which is really interesting. Maybe some people think it's gross. I thought it was kind of cool because at a certain point it starts to feel like there's a certain amount of inevitable waste. And the more I research, the more I realize, well, that's not really actually the case. Takeaway number four, I am going to keep recycling at a very aggressive level. So if I can at all, I'm going to put something in the recycling as opposed to throwing it away. If that means I have to hold on to it in my pocket, like a tissue or a piece of paper or a receipt or whatever, I'm probably gonna do that because at the end of the day, I'll come home, I'll take out my pocket and I can throw whatever's in there into the recycling. So my end goal ultimately will be recycle everything and be a lot more intentional about what I'm consuming and where I'm consuming it from, and trying to heavily reduce, if not completely eliminate, single-use items. So those are my top goals. Can I say that I'm gonna be zero waste from this point on? No. Does that mean that I don't know what that means. I don't know whether or not that means whatever. Anyway, also, update on cold showers. I'm still taking cold showers every day and it's awesome. Well, I think I consider this week's goal a success, but I guess we'll leave that up to you guys to determine.